Chris, are you there? Okay, Chris, I'm going to go serious with this, and we're going to actually get into the discussion because the guy that wanted to ask questions came online. So I'm waiting for him. But right now, I have to figure out something with Instagram settings. Instagram, how to. Okay. How to find your archive on Instagram. Instagram is also adding the option. You kept every live videos 30 days. How you archive your live Instagrams. Right hand corner, you hit that, and then you're okay. So I'm settings. This is privacy, security, and account. None of this makes any sense. Okay, Chris, are you there? Chris, say hello. Chris, say something. Is Chris there? Chris, I'm waiting for you. We're going to get into the discussion. We're going to go, but I'm waiting for Chris. So, tree of knowledge. I want to start with a question. I gave a basic idea, but I want to start with your question. Okay, so I'm sitting here looking at my phone, waiting for. Okay, Chris, there you are. Okay, great. All right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna. Hold a second. I'm gonna go live on Instagram also. Okay, go. Okay, Chris. What's your thesis about the tree of knowledge? Are we talking about the tree of knowledge? What's your thesis? What's your issue here? As I recall, we were talking about the tree of knowledge. Why did God put the tree of knowledge in the garden? Why is that good? Why is that not bad? Something like that. Yeah. Okay. Yes, some knowledge of God. Do you have a question? I mean, do you have a specific point, or do you just want to hear me rant about it? There's a delay here in the all chat. So I ask a question, then we get an answer like 50 hours later. Okay, where our moral compass comes from. All right. Where does the moral compass come from? The moral compass, I think our moral compass comes from the stability of knowing good and evil, perfect discernment. Well, okay, but comes from, I mean, the moral compass, a moral compass is about discerning good and evil, also in terms of the actions that we should take. So if you have a moral compass, you have good ethics, then you are making a good decision between good and evil, not just in thinking what is right and wrong, but in actually doing what is right and not doing what is wrong. But where does that come from? Where do we get it? I'm starting to arrive at the simple conclusion that we get our morals, we get our moral stability, we get our ethics, we get our grounding from start over and rephrase this. However stable our moral center, our moral compass is, gets its stability from however stable the love was between the parents that made us and raised us. The parents make the baby, the parents raise the baby, the parents love each other. However strong and original that is, that's how strong and original one's moral compass will be, one's moral direction. You start to break apart that, our ability to make good moral decisions falls apart. Morals meaning making choices that will be good for ourselves and making choices that are good and respectful and caring of others. Okay. Having all of that knowledge equals discernment. Well, this fruit, it is a fruit of this knowledge, the tree. Okay. Okay. So the tree of knowledge, the tree of knowledge, it was specifically knowledge of good and evil. It wasn't just knowledge in general. It was knowledge of good and evil. And essentially, it was just an opportunity to disobey God by eating the fruit or obey God by not eating the fruit. You had to take a specific action in order to disobey him. So by doing nothing, you were still obeying God. It took a lot of work in order to, it took volitional, conscious action. You don't eat something by accident. You don't pick fruit and eat it by accident. It took a lot of work in order to activate it. So it wasn't there something that they were going to accidentally stumble into. It wasn't a trap that was set. It was available, but it wasn't going to happen by accident. So we were told no, God specifically said, not this one. Don't eat from this one. He says, we were told we could eat from any tree. Any of the fruit in the garden except the tree of knowledge. There was a warning, and Adam passed on that warning to Eve. But why? I mean, I'll go back to a book I'm reading. Let's see. Here we are. Zero Limits. He explains, just today I was reading, he said that so often, if there was someone that needed help, if someone was drowning and he'd throw the person a rope, he said maybe the person would hang himself with the rope. How do you help people? We don't just need to pour knowledge into people's minds. They have to have a moral center to know what to do with it. Knowledge and morality are not coterminous. Look at Machiavelli. So that you don't want to just download information into people without them, caring. We want to have knowledge that's useful, very useful, helps a lot. But more importantly, we have to want the knowledge, and we have to want to do something good with it. Otherwise, that knowledge will only make a mess. So there are more foundational issues. Are morals more important than knowledge? Probably. I certainly would say that morals have to come first, because you're not even going to remember the knowledge if you don't care. If someone forces you to remember stuff, but you don't want to, you're not going to learn and remember as well as if you are interested and you do care and you do want to learn. I mean, that's basic education. I mean, teachers learn that in college. The kids have to want to learn. Shortcut. Their eyes were opened. Nobody can see God and live. Well, their eyes were opened. Okay, that's Genesis 3. Nobody can see God and live. That's other. Nobody can see God and live. That's a. I don't even believe that that's directly taught in Scripture. That's observed by people in Scripture, like people in the Bible who'd see God, who would talk to God. They'd say, if you see God, you don't live. I mean, Jacob said, I saw God and lived. And it was amazing. Isaiah said something similar. People see God and they get scared that they might not live through it. There was also the Holy of Holies. You couldn't go in there, you die. But those are different parts of the Bible teaching different things. So their eyes were opened. By taking these two very different parts of the Bible and then putting them together, you're not going to arrive at something that makes sense unless there's a reason you're putting them together, a rhyme and a reason to it. You can just conflate them. I'm trying to understand you, Chris. The thing is that I have to talk and there's a delay with your message. And I'm not trying to say that anyone's wrong. I'm simply glad to have a conversation, Chris, and talk about what I think. Here's a statement and I'll rant what I think about it. I hope that everyone's thinking and arriving at conclusions. Eve only knew good. Okay. Originally. Even her response, good for this, good for that. Okay. All right. I'll go along with that before the fall. Therefore, there could be no malice. Okay. Malice. You're arguing malice. Well, malice. Oh boy. That's a Harvard debate technique there, buddy. Because actually actually the logical, if we want to talk academic terms for a minute, that's a red herring, because malice, the Bible never said, if you eat from it and where the prosecution can prove malice, you will surely die that day. It doesn't say that. It just says if you eat from it. So malice technically wasn't part of the question, but more importantly, did she do it on purpose? Yes. Well, that's basically what malice is about anyway. So if we're talking about the principle of malice. So no, I don't buy that. She knew what she was doing. She was told, and so was Adam. They were told, and they decided not to listen. And that, as ignorant as it may be, they were told. They were told. This, they were told. We can't say they weren't told. They were told. They didn't know the full gravity of it. But let me. I'm gonna read your other chats here in a second, Chris. Keep them coming. We can make bad decisions that destroy our lives without knowing that they're going to destroy our lives, and they're still going to destroy our lives if we make those bad decisions. This is Jesse, the life coach, here talking. I'm a certified life coach from two different certifiers, ecology and who's that awesome Latino guy that should have his PhD by now? He's a really awesome guy. I just forget what his name is. Anyhow, if Marco Rubio moment, I need water. So here we go. Yeah. They were told, and it's the moral obligation of the adults in the world to inform younger people, especially those closer, but any younger people that you encounter, to properly guide, hopefully by example, lead them, teach by example, but as needed, to guide them in the choices that will help them. And that way, those young people have been told. But this is a hard lesson of growing up. If you decide not to pick up the phone when it's ringing, and that's an important phone call about the car that you won, that you wanted to win, you don't pick up the phone, you're not going to get the car. You don't get to decide what someone else is going to do if you don't hear the full story. Stonewalling, they call that, where you build up a wall and you don't listen to people. Someone tries to tell you, maybe you are tired. Maybe you've been yelled at all your life and you don't want to listen to people. It doesn't matter the reason, whether you're hurt or you're just stupid all on your own. If you don't listen to people, if you don't hear and act wisely accordingly, you make a bad choice, you're going to have to live with those bad actions. They're still there. They're still there. And that's a hard lesson to learn. And when people can get that, they learn that. I've made bad choices. I didn't know I was hurting myself, but I was. I've got to learn as much as I can. I'll clean up my mess. I'll keep going. That's the attitude of champions. And this is Jesse, the life coach, here talking. And pardon me, I'm largely talking to myself. Okay. I really think, looking at the tree of knowledge, a lot of the tree of knowledge has so much to do with a life coaching principle. The tree of knowledge of good and evil. Okay. The eyes are opened. Eve knew good. Okay. Pre-tree. Therefore, there could be no malice. Okay. When you have your compass, you will die. Well, no. They had a moral compass. God told them. They already had it. They went against a moral compass. Lay down your life for a brother. Okay, sure. Second Adam, Jesus. Okay. Hey, I'm reacting as I read here. When you have a moral compass, lay down your life for your brother. But there's two different types of death. There's death you can bring upon yourself because you're an idiot or you don't want to listen. Maybe you're hurt and it's hard to listen, but you still need to. You want out of your emotional baggage. Go do the right thing when you don't feel like it. Listen, and you'll step up and you'll be able to move forward. That's a hard lesson to learn when you've got a sad, broken life. When life's bad, you've got to go do things that you don't feel like doing. That's the way out, and you'll stop feeling bad. You got to do things you don't feel like doing because you feel so bad. That's the door out. Okay, yeah, but you can do things that are bad to hurt yourself. Adam was told he would die. You eat from this fruit, you're going to die. Adam was told that in a grand sense. This is poison. Now, it turned out to be a spiritual poison, a spiritual death, not an immediate physical death. But eventually it resulted in a physical death. Because otherwise, humans theoretically, I think, would be immortal in their bodies. But the death process began. But that's a very different death from laying down your life to try to help someone else. That's very different. One is utter destruction. The other one is self-sacrifice for something good. They're worlds apart, incomparable. We're told all the time, be like Jesus. Okay. Yep. Okay. Whatever the heck that, not whatever the heck you mean. I mean, be like Jesus, whatever the heck that's supposed to mean. The fake Jesus, the Jesus from the flannel graphs, or the Jesus from reality, the Jesus from the movies that were badly made and don't fully reflect him, or the actor of Jesus really tried to, but it's hard. Okay. So, when you have your moral compass, die. Okay, we're told to be like Jesus. She chose good. Well, good is not eating from the tree. Eve did not choose good, and kind of didn't even have a choice, as she knew only good. Well, before that, before eating from the tree, everything she did was good. It was a plurality of good. I want to go. Okay, she chose good. Let's say I'm not sure if you mean before the fall or after. So let's go. She's choosing good. We'll go before the fall, before she eats the fruit. She chose good, and everything she did was good. Okay. Yes. I'll go to Malcolm Gladwell, Blink, where they were talking about different flavors of food. In culinary terms, there was this idea that every type of food had only one perfect type. And so it was this massive realization that people had to come to, that there are different types of good food. And so that led to the business discovery that there can and should be different types of mustard. You can have yellow mustard, you can have Dijon mustard, and you can soup it up differently for different occasions. Ketchup, that's hard to. Ketchup is a special, unique thing in of itself, and it's either ketchup or it's not ketchup. There isn't even good quality or bad quality ketchup. It just is it ketchup. So, but the idea of the plurality of perfection, there are different types of food that can be perfect. There's not only one type of perfect food. So Eve is running around the garden before she ate the fruit, doing different good things constantly, but all of them are good because she's not disobeying. I mean, I say disobeying. I mean, she's not fighting and rebelling against the one that wanted these good things for her. I've been trying my best to explain to dear friends here in Taiwan and anywhere I can go, God is on our side with the good things that we want to do. It is a lie that we would have to fight God to do good things that we want. Now, there might be some things that we want and they seem good, and maybe God would say no, but that's because of dangers we don't understand. But there are many, many, many good things that we want to achieve. And God is not fighting us. He is trying to help us get those things. But then we've got these angry, we'll say angry adults, angry leaders, angry teachers, depending on our age adults. We have these other people in our lives pushing us around saying, no, you're bad if you do that thing, which is actually good. No, every good thing is what God wants us to have. He is not our enemy, not at all. The best of things God wants for us. So there is so much room. There are so many more choices when you're alive and not dead. There's so much to choose from when you're eating from all the different trees and fruits and vegetables in the garden, rather than being fixated on this one. I mean, which one has more choice? The singularity or the plurality? There was a plurality of good in the garden and a singularity of danger. All right. Let's okay, she says okay, you said yes a long time ago, and there's also a delay in what you hear when you type and I see things. She chose good and kind of didn't even have okay, she had lots of choice. Yes, it is our guide. You can only accept this if you can overcome the earth and even life. Okay, I'm not sure I quite understand this. Yes, it is our guide. You can only accept this if you can overcome this earth and even life. What is our guide and what are we accepting? Could you type a comment? I'll get to it. A big picture, red pill, blue pill. Yes, God's judgment is always judgment when you do bad. Doesn't evil come to teach? Learning the hard way. Evil come, we make a bad choice. Evil will come to teach us. And so we learn the hard way. Evil's a pretty, hey, what up, Dylan? I'm live streaming here. Some guy's asking me Bible questions. I know you'll get bored, but okay. But I love you, Dylan. I'm waving at you, Dylan. Well, no, I mean, I do this YouTube stuff and he's, they ask questions and I'm like, well, let's go a little different here. Oh, you're careful putting your phone number in the all chat, buddy. Here, I'll copy. Do you have an iPhone? If you have an iPhone, I'll FaceTime you. I've got something there. Okay, so God's judgment, always judgment. Okay, evil. When you know God, you will willingly die. Maybe, or you'll live. God wants you to live. God doesn't want us to die and suffer and be miserable. What the heck? That's a lie from Sunday morning. Oh, Mike King, you're kidding me. What the heck? It's Bible Q&A time with Jesse, Mike. No, I'm doing this on YouTube. Also, I'm doing them both. Okay. You willingly die. I mean, maybe you have death in extreme circumstances, but always be ready for it. I mean, if when you're ready for death, you can truly be alive. Seeds have to die before they can grow, but my goodness, life, the life that our Maker wanted for us is a life that is thriving and abundant and filled with good, happy things. Why don't people agree with that? I'll tell you what, there is a lot of money to be made from standing on a platform in a box on Sunday morning, making people think that God doesn't want things that are happy. And we don't say it that way. But you find you work it around so that it will eternally, but so blah, 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 blah. In the meanwhile, we got to be sad and miserable. I don't agree with that conclusion. Okay. No greater love than death. Well, I know, maybe, I suppose, but are you willing to shut up, around the people that don't want to hear you talk all the time? I tell you what, shutting up is harder for me than death. Tell you that right now. Okay. Where are we? When you know God, you will willingly die. The data info knowledge is balanced equally when the day comes that we know evil versus learning via the fires of life and of time itself. We will then choose righteousness and even see the synergy. When we will then choose righteousness. When the day comes, we know evil versus learning, fires of life, time itself. That kind of sounds like what Jed always says, that the first witness, that the disease is the cure. And that we make these terrible, horrible choices, and those choices have terrible consequences, and the terrible consequences are what teach us. Who says we die? Oh, I'm talking to Chris on YouTube, and he's chatting at me. It's kind of a one-way conversation because people were interested, so I'm going to archive it and put it up later, but this is a way to do things. The thing is, and I am talking about Jedediah, Mike. The thing is, the benefit that I get from seeing the tree of knowledge is that I know that destruction is a choice. There's a kid looked at me and told me, a few months ago, just looked at me, and he's talking about different family things, and he just looked at me with this self-honesty moment, and he goes, "I'm effed up." He didn't say effed. He goes, "I'm effed up," and I'm like, it's all right. The thing about that I've told him before and after, and he listens. It's like, you were not randomly effed up. Someone effed you up. That was a choice. And Jedediah is often saying that the disease is the cure. And he's right. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to tell people, or that Jed's not going to tell people to make good choices. It doesn't have to be that bad. It's going to be bad before Jesus gets back. But it's going to be hard and difficult, but there are so many problems that were not necessary. Even to this day, all of this wasn't necessary. And I do not believe in just sitting there and letting people go through life in their ignorance without a moral compass. We need as much, like I said, we get our moral compass from the stability and love as we are raised by the biological man and woman that made us. However much a man and woman make a baby, however much they love each other, stay together, educate and give space, and raise that baby correctly, that will be the stability of that person's moral guidance. The moral compass is built on a framework, and the framework comes from the stability of where that baby was made. And once there's strife in the family, or divorce, or who knows what else, that begins to crumble and fall apart. And so I want to be a force that lifts up as much as we can to provide those types of needs for as many people as possible, because we do not need to have evil as the best teacher we've ever had. Okay. Continuing on with Chris, I'm not disagreeing with Chris. I'm just, he's commenting, and I'm saying what I think because people are curious what Jesse thinks. So this is what Jesse thinks. Late on your life, the epiphany is that we do not have to see or do evil in order for there to be love. Yeah. No, we don't. The tragedy hits, love shows always, fireman plays, etc. Why do we wait for bad? No, not Jedi. Oh dear. John Seaver. This is Q&A. Some guys on Chris is on YouTube, and he's asking me questions, and I'm gonna be back here tomorrow, about 9, and it's just they're asking questions, and I'm just gonna go, and I think I'm gonna do more of these. I'm not saying what the truth is. I'm just saying what I think about things. Late on your life, the epiphany is, yeah, I mean, okay, why do we, I don't know. I don't know. It's something that I don't get. Messing up, Bill Gates. I want to say positive words, please. Encourage that mistakes are okay. Well, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. At Microsoft, Bill Gates was an ass. In fact, if you look at it, I mean, he might have given lip service to this idea, but I mean, Bill Gates is gone, and people are trying to say why Microsoft is good, and their basic defense is that we allow people to live and learn, like we allow people to make mistakes. That is not. Let people make mistakes because they learn from them, like the harmless, not the evil mistakes, but the harmless mistakes. That is not Bill Gates' invention or legacy. Oh my word! What other lies has he been telling? My goodness, Windows 3.1 will be out, and we're coming out Windows 3 in 6 months. Everyone has a moral compass of sorts, and yes, just as the man and woman are from. Just as the man and women are from. Okay, do I see what yet? See it yet? Correct. Love. If you love an enemy, they become a footstool, a help. Ooh, footstool is a help. I like that. I like that positive look at it. I'll tell you. There are so many people that combat me and fight me and give me a hard time. And some of them become some really amazing friends. And I always try not to judge. You see someone that gives you a hard time, that person could end up being your best friend. Okay, correct, love. And God's glory is shown and his truths demonstrate. It's in his book that I read. Sorry, I figured it's okay. Oh, to quote the source. I'm okay. I mean, I'm sure that Bill Gates has given lots of lip service to things. No problems. Okay. I'm gonna can this for now. This was titillating. We're scheduled for tomorrow at 9. So I'm going to be back tomorrow at 9. And right now I need to go on Instagram and figure out what cockamamie weird setting is going to make this thing behave normally and actually save the live streams. So I love you, Chris, and I'll talk to you back here, same time, same place tomorrow.